Mendel's ideas and laws. Heritable factors, or genes, are responsible for all heritable characteristics, and phenotype is based on genotype. So you look the way you do, at least in part, because of the DNA that you inherited. Each trait is based on two alleles, one from the mom and the other from the dad. And true breeding individuals are homozygous. That means both alleles are the same. So these are his general ideas. And so he has this first law, Mendel's law of dominance, and that is exactly what it sounds like. Some things are dominant. So in a cross of parents that are pure for contrasting traits, only one form of the trait will appear in the next generation. So for example, you have a pea plant and it has purple flowers, and it's true breeding because you've bred it for 20 generations and they're always purple. And you mate it with one with white flowers, and you know that's homozygous also because you've mated that one for 20 generations or whatever, and they're all white. When you mate these, you know you're going to make a baby that has a big P from the parent here and a little p from this parent, and every single one of these is going to be purple, showing that the big P is dominant. So in a cross of parents that are pure for contrasting traits, as in that's pure for this color, that's pure for the other color, only one form of the trait will appear in the next generation. So they'll all be purple. All of the offspring will be heterozygous and express only the dominant trait. So this is dominant, that's recessive, and that was Mendel's idea. So big R mated with little r yields all big R, little r, and big R is for round. Every single one of these babies is going to yield round seeds, or be made out of round seeds. Okay, so here's an example of that. If you have these three genotypes, or yeah, these three, it's big Y, big Y, big Y, little y, big Y, little y, and little y, little y. The recessive one here, if there's two little y's, you get green. Otherwise, it doesn't matter if you have two big Y's or a big Y and something else, it's still going to be yellow. Mendel's law of segregation. So you've heard segregate before, and we were talking at that point about meiosis. So during the formation of gametes, egg meaning eggs and sperm, the two alleles responsible for a trait segregate from each other or separate from each other. So for let's say my son, because with eye color I know he's got a gene for brown eyes and a gene for blue eyes. When he has kids, he could either give them the brown-eyed gene or the blue-eyed gene. So those two separate out. So alleles for a trait are then recombined at fertilization, producing the genotype for the traits of the offspring. So if you have big B, a big B sperm, and it fertilizes, I hate when it does that, and it fertilizes an egg that's big B, then the baby will be big B, and will have brown eyes. If you have the little b, and it fertilizes that egg, it would be big B, little b. So that would still be brown eyes. But if this sperm fertilizes an egg like that, you would get little b, and you'd have blue eyes. Applying the laws of segregation. So here's an example of that. Here's the female parent, big T, little t, and the alleles separate out into two different gametes. Big T, little t for the dad, 2 in this case, and the alleles again separate out into the two sperm. So that's segregation. It's saying that the two alleles that you have for anything are separated when you make your sperm or when you make your eggs, and then they recombine at fertilization with an egg and a sperm unite. The last one is Mendel's law of independent assortment, and you saw this in meiosis when the chromosomes lined up. So this is saying that alleles for different traits are distributed to sex cells and then to offspring independently of one another. So remember in meiosis you had homologous chromosomes line up like this. And let's say this is the gene for how tall you're going to be. And let's say there's another set of chromosomes. And on this set of chromosomes, this tells you whether you're going to have freckles or not. You can have them lined up like this so that this egg gets big T, big F, and this sperm gets little t, did I say egg or sperm? I don't know, and little f, or they could have lined up like this. Big T, little t, and look, the little f, that could have been on this side this time, right? So that's little f, and that means this one lined up on the other side, big F. So this could have made sperm, little t, big F, or big T, little f. And those four are all different from each other. So that's something that we're going to look at when we do dihybrid crosses, which is coming up in our next video. With a dihybrid cross, you look at two traits. In this case, how tall you are and whether or not you'll have freckles. And if you look at the gametes, there are four possible different gametes, big T, little f, or big T, big F, and little t, big F, or little t, little f. So unless they're very close in a chromosome, alleles will all be separate. Well, they'll all sort independently. And this is true because of that law of independent assortment that we did with metaphase when we looked at meiosis 1. So this law can be illustrated using something called a dihybrid cross, which we're going to do next.